I'm Karen Town, and you're tuned into PHTV Channel 4. Today on our Living Well edition, we have Kelly Devine, who is the president of Divine Nutrition and a registered dietitian. And she's going to talk to us today about some, ways that we can deal with these upcoming holidays with some tips on continuing to be healthy and eat healthy. It's a challenging time to do those kind of things. So welcome back, Kelly.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So before we get started, I do want to point out that we are taping today in the Moraine Valley Community College's demo kitchen. This kitchen is used by the students who are in their culinary arts program. So we're really fortunate to be able to be back in the college and seeing some of the nice facilities that they offer to our community. Okay, so Kelly, the holidays are going to be here before we know it, and it's a challenging time sometimes to try to figure out how you're going to, navigate all those parties and everything without, totally putting on the pounds.
Right.
So just let's get started. Are there just some general tips you would tell everybody about as they approach the holidays?
Well, I typically tell people to not go into it with an all or nothing mentality. If you make some goals, whether it be trying to walk every day or drinking water still or planning out some healthier lunches and afternoon snacks. So we tend to not go overboard in the evenings. People tend to stay on track better. I am a everything in moderation dietitian, and so I would never want people to not to go to holiday parties or not eat their favorite slice of, their grandma's pecan pie. But you also have to kind of leave room in the diet for those additional calories. So heading into the holidays with kind of a plan of action and being more mindful about it tends to help people come January 1st.
So maybe eating a smaller piece of the pecan pie so grandma's still happy that you're trying it. But
Absolutely.
And then I think you kind of said the whole planning ahead thing. I think that is really valuable because sometimes you just walk in, you're starving because you are like, oh, I got to try everything. And then before you know it, you've tried everything and eaten too much of everything.
Right.
And so
I feel like people make two mistakes when it comes to holiday eating. One is stress is very high this time of year, whether it be financial, or you're running around trying to do all the errands for the holidays and then trying to get your family ready for the holidays, just all that shopping and running around, cooking. So then we tend to not think about what we're eating all day long, so trying to plan a little bit better when you have some downtime to make your day-by-day stressors a little bit lower. I do suggest continuing to walk or exercise so you have some outlet for that stress during the holidays. Even if it's not going to the gym for an hour, it could be a 20-minute walk, increasing your steps at work, like little things. Obviously, around us, wintertime kind of starts to set in and it gets darker earlier. So even just increasing those pedometer steps and just moving more, I feel like kind of helps offset some of that stress, which then tends to lead to overeating. And again, it's that everything in moderation. So maybe if we have a holiday party with some drinks later on at night, maybe we have a salad for lunch or like carrots and hummus for a snack. So we're eating smaller meals so we arrive at the party not starving, but with a little extra calories to play around with.
And so many of those holiday parties that we get invited to, we bring something.
Right.
So we might want to bring some healthy options. And I think we're going to have a show on PHTV soon with some healthy holiday options where you're going to show us some recipes. But what are some really fast things people, we're so busy that time of year. Is there, you have some quick grab things that would be?
Well, now with the invention of TikTok and Instagram and Pinterest, there's no shortage of healthier holiday recipes that you could look up. I love the holiday tree veggie appetizers with like a hummus or like a lower fat dip in the middle. I'll make a Christmas tree pesto appetizer. So it looks in the shape of the Christmas tree, but it has pesto in there. So there's lots of healthier options, or if you have like your favorite, you could always modify it a little bit by lowering the fat. So instead of regular cheese, 1/3 less fat. Instead of a full cup of sugar, do half a cup of sugar. Little tweaks that really won't alter the taste of your recipe. And usually I challenge people to don't even tell your guests that you've altered the
Yeah, yeah,
recipe,
right.
and
They don't
they'll
even know they're eating
yeah,
healthy.
they'll still give you all the compliments, and they don't even know it's healthier for them.
So I know one of the things you have mentioned to us when you've been with us in the past is the importance of kind of eating throughout the day, those small, and kind of keeping your blood sugar levels kind of even, so you don't just have that crash. Like,
Right.
talk a little bit about how we can do that during the holidays too.
Well, I feel like, when people are leaving work and they're scrambling to do all those after work, errands, that afternoon snack is definitely key, especially if you're out running errands or picking kids up from a practice or running into Target for another, present run.
Yeah.
You're kind of running on fumes by the time you get home.
Yeah.
And then that leads to that sugar drop where we just kind of eat whatever's around or go through a drive-through. So making sure you bring lunch and have that afternoon snack on you. And especially just to have a couple on-hand things in your car. So like
That's a good
protein
idea.
bars,
Yeah.
any 7-Eleven gas station, Walgreens, CVS type of store will have the pre-made protein shakes, the muscle
okay,
milk
yeah,
or the core
yeah.
power ones.
Uh-huh.
And then a lot of stores, even 7-Eleven, they'll have hard-boiled eggs, yogurt, hummus.
Yeah, there are a lot more
cheese
options
sticks,
at those kind of stores.
you
I've
know,
noticed.
so
Yeah, that's
the
great.
bars, the 100-calorie packs of nuts, those are just things you can keep in the car to kind of tide off your hunger, so that way, you stay on track more.
Yeah, no, those are great ideas. What about eating out? This time of year, a lot of times your office party, they might take you to a restaurant or something. What are some tips about eating out that we can do
So
better?
when it comes to eating out, I always say, like for me, I probably only go out once or twice. I don't have like a lot of work parties. And I know some people who have 4 parties a week, So for somebody who's having frequent dining out or going to a lot of parties, you do have to be just mindful of the calories. So try not to arrive there starving, because we all know what happens when you arrive to a party super hungry. I usually will suggest getting on the small appetizer plate and trying to do like 1 or 2 apps that have maybe like some veggies in it or whatnot. And then perusing the menu ahead of time. So whether you're going to somebody's house or you're going to a restaurant, you could kind of see what's on the menu first before kind
Sort of like making the decision before all that good stuff's in
Right,
front of you.
yeah.
You've already mentally
kind
decided.
of go through that line before you pick up your plate, especially if it's like a buffet type of thing. And a lot of times it's really not going there too hungry. I do suggest drinking water throughout your meal. It slows you down, especially if you want to slow down the alcohol consumption, because that's usually what will pick up calories a lot at holiday events. So maybe like alternating a water and an alcoholic drink will kind of lower the amount you consume and save some calories.
Yeah, I think those beverages can really add up. Like
Yeah.
you've got the fancy hot chocolates and the
Eggnog,
like you said,
yep.
the alcoholic treats. So just again in moderation and follow up with water. I
Right.
think that's a great.
And really, I gauge your hunger level, right? So, if it's Thanksgiving, I'm going to save room for like my favorites.
Yeah.
So stuffing and sweet potatoes are my thing, whether it be Thanksgiving or Christmas. So I might have a little bit more of that, but I'll try and balance my plate out. And it's really just stopping when you're full. There's usually probably going to be leftovers. Or you could save some, to eat the next day. But just taking your time, enjoying the company, enjoying the food, savoring it, will usually help you slow down a little bit.
Yeah, I think the focusing on the social part is a really good tip too, because if you're talking to people a lot more,
Yeah.
filling your mouth the whole time. Maybe.
And I personally, if I keep my drink in my hand, I tend to drink more. So I have to put my fork or beverage down, kind of helps slow
Oh yeah.
the eating
It
down.
makes you feel full sooner.
Mm-hmm.
I think that tip about stopping when you're full is really important.
It's hard because it takes about 20 minutes for your brain and your stomach to kind of catch up to one another. And if you're a fast eater like I am, you can get pretty uncomfortable by 20 minutes. So that's why I tend to try to put my utensils down, my glass down. It slows me down. And then I really do enjoy the food more then.
I feel like there's so many sweets, just like from Halloween on. So do you have any tips on how we can kind of keep our sugar intake down?
So if you're the type of person who really can't have it around, try not to keep it at the house, but maybe like if you go to a party, you could have like a sweet, kind of limit it yourself
Good
that
idea.
way. I love baking cookies, so they typically are in my house. So I try to have a rule that I can have one a day, something to look forward to after my lunch, and then I don't have to think about it all day long. But yes, the continued like chocolates and sweets, pies, cakes, you name it, it's everywhere, so try to have like a plan of action. So to limit yourself a little bit. But again, it's the holidays, and like I couldn't imagine going through the holidays without some of my sprinkle cookies,
Right.
But
So-
I also shouldn't have a pound of them.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no, and too, I mean, just I think doing those kind of things like setting that one day a cookie goal is probably really good for your kids to see that too. They see that you're setting that kind of an example
Right.
too, so that's really
Yep,
good.
80% of the time, kind of stick to your healthier diet foods, and then that leaves room for that 20%. And if you have a lot of holiday parties or work event type of thing, trying to get to the gym to offset some of the extra calories we're going to be consuming. But it's all about being just more mindful.
So that kind of leads me to my next question. I know when you've spoken with us in the past, you like to have your clients sometimes like journal what foods they're eating, right, throughout the day to kind of have that physical record, whether down or whatever. So why do you think that's a valuable activity, and how can we incorporate that into our holiday time?
So I will encourage it for people who are trying to continue on like a health journey or weight loss journey.
Okay.
But if it's ever something that's going to add more stress to their life, then I practice more that mindful eating approach to where
Okay.
we're stopping when we're full, we're eating something when we start to feel that hunger, and just planning and packing more. So I have clients who'll stick on the food log just because it keeps them accountable. And then some who I just feel like it stresses them out a little bit.
Add something else they
right?
don't need during the holidays,
You know,
sure.
so
That makes
I
sense.
kind of take that on a case by case basis.
Mm-hmm.
But again, being mindful, because you could grab a cookie and all of a sudden you have 5. Versus if you had to write it down, you might be like, okay, I'm stopping at 2.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Okay, so if our viewers wanted to learn a little bit more about where they could get some healthy recipes, I know that PHTV is going to have a show where you show us a couple of healthy recipes, so watch for that. But what else? I think your blog maybe offers
Yeah, we
some?
have me and my daughter do a cooking counter, kitchen counter cooking school. So we do some healthy recipes on the blog, Instagram and Facebook on Divine Nutrition, and then starting up again at Moraine Valley and in my office in Mokina, we'll be starting some weight loss classes in January.
Oh, yeah, January is always popular to get back in those fitness and
Yep.
diet classes, right? Well, is there anything else that you would specifically want to mention to us?
No, my biggest advice to my clients is to enjoy the holidays and not stress about it. Food is meant to be enjoyed, and we're meant to share that food with our family and friends. So try not to overstress about it. Keep some healthy things on hand so you stay on track more. Try to get in some movement, and most people could easily maintain weight and health throughout the holidays.
Yeah, I think the movement thing is really important. So maybe host the party and come up with some kind of activity that everybody has to run around or something. So thanks, Kelly, for being with us today and giving
Yeah.
us some healthy tips to get us through the holidays. And thank you for tuning in to PHTV Channel 4. Again, I'd like to give a shout out to Moraine Valley Community College for letting us film in their demo kitchen today. And I'd like to thank you all for tuning in and wishing you the best of a holiday season.